Hey guys, welcome back to 3 Generations Restoration. Today we're going to be assembling the 300's engine. We're going to start off by removing the piston rings, cleaning the pistons, and getting the pistons back in the engine. So I got first piston here. We're going to demonstrate how to take the rings off of good piston. These are good rings. Then we'll demonstrate taking piston rings off of the bad piston. So let's go ahead and get after it. What you're gonna do is, what I like to do is just slowly ease them out, and then we're gonna go from top to bottom. That way we kind of remember which way where each one was. And these are actually coming off pretty nice. All right, so we're gonna try to get this thing out of here. Pull the oil slinger out. This one broke when we did it, so oh well. There's the bottom. All right, so all the rings are off of this piston. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean it. We're gonna make sure it's nice and clean, and then we're gonna put the pistons back on. I'll show you one piston. I'm not gonna show you all, but we're gonna get this off. I'll show you taking piston rings off that are stuck now. Alright, so here's a good example of a piston with stuck rings. You can see they're all flat in there. They should be moving around freely. This was the piston that was stuck in the engine. So what we're going to do is we're going to lightly tap these rings out. I got a little screwdriver, and we're going to try to get these out. Start at this bottom one here, I guess. There we go. That one came off nice. All right, so it looks like this oil one will come off. All right, there's the oil control ring. These compression rings are not going to be the easiest though to get. Let me get a little smaller of a screwdriver. Maybe see if I can get in this groove a little bit. Oh, this one broke off, of course. There we go. Alright, looks like this one kind of broke free. Get my little bigger screwdriver now. And these, honestly, I don't care if they break or not because they're getting replaced. And usually when they're stuck, they do break. There it goes. You can kind of tell. I know a lot of people say that putting a little evapor rust or whatever down these cylinders will break these piston rings free. Whoa, that one shot at you. But nothing would have gotten these free. There's just nothing that would have gotten these ones out. There it is. So there's the one compression ring. We got two more now. See if I can get this little one here started in this second one.
Oh, it shows you on there.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so the second piston rings are really stuck. We used a little bit of heat, and it looks like they're starting to come out in pieces now, which is good. So we'll meet you guys back here when we get all the rings out. Just kind of gonna copy what we're doing for the top ring. So all right, all the rings are off. What a pain in the butt that was. So we're gonna throw the ring groove cleaner in that. I'll put a video in the description showing how we do that before. These should clean up pretty good. We'll set this one aside, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna repeat the process with these other two. These are gonna be like the first ones where they all slide up and out pretty easy, so I'm not gonna show that again, but we will meet you guys right back here when we got all of our pistons cleaned and ready to do installation. All right, guys, so we're gonna assemble the piston rings. We're starting with the oil ring, which you have to assemble in 3 pieces. We're gonna start with this little piece here that will go on the bottom, and you wanna be really careful. And I hate when that happens. So you gotta slowly work its way down to the bottom. Just like that. I thought I had the wrong piston rings for a second, but the thing was this little oil catcher wiper part that I keep messing up. The oil wiper ring, just had to kind of work the way around. So we got the bottom, the middle, and then you have to follow it up with the top. So slide that one down nice and easy. And of course it likes to get caught in every ring groove except for the one that needs to go in. Oop. There's the wiper seal, wiper ring, all nice and together, and we don't have much movement up and down, so we're good to go there. We're going to want to ensure that the next piston ring doesn't line up with here. We'll get to that when we get the next one on. So here's the next one. This is a compression ring. There's a dot that points up. This is the way that the rings come out and the way that they go. So we're gonna get this one down there. Just like that. Here's the next one. Remember, dot up. Nice and easy. Okay, and then here's the last one. It's the last compression ring. And pretty self-explanatory. Just pop this guy onto the top one. All right, so there's the rings. They're on. They're all pretty good shape. Here's the piston ring set part number for this tractor. Now you're gonna have to do your own research because there's 3 different sets of piston rings you can get for this engine. You have to measure your bore, you have to measure your ring gap, and obviously we did that. We had a different bore than a standard tractor, and we also had some different pistons than normal. So this piston's done. Now the last thing that I want to mention here is when we go to put it in, this is a big no-no. This is, the engine will burn oil. So we're gonna set each one 90 degrees off of each other. So we're gonna set that. This first one will stay there. The second one will move there. The third one will move 180 out from the first one. And then the top one will move all the way to here. So this piston's ready to go, ready to be installed on the tractor. We'll put bearings on it when we get there. All right, I'm sure all you are familiar with piston ring compressor. Right now we're compressing the piston rings down so we can put them into the block, down back into the cylinders. I'll leave that on for now. So we're good there. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna install our bearings. So we went with same company. I think it was, who'd we get these from? Allstate Ag Parts, or yeah, Allstate Ag Parts. You have to do a little research on your rod bearings as well. You don't want to get the wrong ones. So we went off of the actual part number that was on the old bearings, which is 357992-R1. Kind of hard to see, but I'll put that in the actual text box. So we're going to unbox these. I'm actually going to take these gloves off and take these out. Be nice and easy with these. They're tin, so they can be easily damaged. Look at the nice new bearing though, pretty cool. All right, you're gonna slide this in one way. You're gonna see the notch correspond with that notch, and you're gonna slowly just go in with it just until you're flush on each side, which I am right there, and you've freshly installed a rod bearing. Now we're gonna do the same with the cap. You're gonna take out this bearing here, and you can see you got the notch here, and you're gonna slide this guy right in. And there it is. We're also gonna wanna lubricate the actual bearing surfaces, but we're not there yet. We're gonna wanna get the piston in, and then I'll probably lubricate it with my fingers. So we'll show you that when we get there, but we're gonna go ahead and put this piston back in the tractor. All right, here we go. I lubricated the bearing cap, or the rod bearing here, and I also put some oil down in the cylinder. So we're gonna slowly set this in here. Just kind of like that. Another thing too you gotta notice is the way that the piston is orientated. You wanna make sure that it says front, and this is the way it came out. So we'll tap this guy in now. By the looks of it, I gotta actually move the compressor here.
You're hitting the head on the...
Where's the other rubber mallet?
Right.
There it is. There's the first piston. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna hit it down far enough, and I gotta orientate it a certain way to hook it up to the crank. So we'll show you that when I get the piston close enough to where it hooks to the crankshaft. All right, so the rod is all the way onto the crank. We're gonna slide the main bearing on, and it's just right there. You start a bolt. Just like that. Make sure that your locks are facing out the way that they came out, as we're gonna hit them in. Those keep the bolts from coming out if there was ever a problem. But later, torque spec is 40 to 45 foot-pounds. So we're going with 43 foot-pounds, somewhere in the middle. So I got these pretty snug. We're already there on that one. All right, so there's cylinder number 4, and you can see that 4 and 4 numbers are lined up here. What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna take a small chisel and we're gonna chisel these back. These keep the bolts tight if they were to ever be loose, causing a catastrophic issue. So I'll get a hammer and a punch, we'll punch those in, and then we will continue to the next piston. It's gonna be the same thing, so I'm not gonna show it all. All right, so all the pistons are in. We've got the pan on with a new gasket. Little bit of gasket maker on it too. I'm not gonna show putting the bolts in, but they're just a couple half-inch bolts. We got it started up here. Gonna tighten all these down, and then once we get these tightened down, we can go and work on the cylinder head and hopefully get that done today. All right, so oil pan is on. All the bolts are tightened down. I set the engine to top dead center 1. I don't know if it's on exhaust or compression right now. We'll find out when we put the head on and all the push rods, but here's the head gasket. You can kind of see right here, it says this side out or this side up. So this other side is the side you want to face the block. So we're gonna go ahead and set this bad boy down. Just like that. I'm gonna go get the cylinder head now. We're gonna drop her on, and then we're gonna go ahead and torque all the head bolts down and put the rocker arm on. All right. There we go. Whew, big chunk of metal. Let's go ahead and torque it down now. So what I did was I real quick used the little 3/8 gun and kind of got them snug. So owner's service manual over here says cylinder head 70 foot-pounds for the 300 tractor, which is up there. Really nice book to have if you're working on something like this. International Harvester Shop Manual. This is the original book, so 70 foot-pounds it is. We'll start in the middle and we'll work our way out. All right, so put down one time, one time, so everybody ready. All right, so now we're done with the cylinder head. We're gonna go ahead now and put the rocker arm back on, and we're gonna set the valve lash. All right. Here's the push rods. Let's go ahead and install them and clean them at the same time. Get some of this dust off of them, and we'll set them down in there, and that one's in. You'll know when they're in too. You'll feel them click down in the lifter. You can see they're all the same height. You got one that's a little taller than the other or a little lower, that will tell you kind of that you're not in the lifter correctly. I'll tell you what, guys, we got lucky. When I took the push rods out when we removed everything on this engine, I must have pulled the lifter completely out of the bore, and it was sitting horizontal in the block. And I took a magnet and some grabbers and was just able to pick it up and put it back down on the bore. Otherwise, we would have been restarting everything today. All the push rods are back in though. What we're going to do now is clean the rocker arm, and we're going to set that on. And by the looks of it, we are at top dead center 1 compression. So we'll go ahead and set the valves. We'll go from there. Here's the rocker arm after cleaning it. See that little pipe there? Be very careful when you go put it back in that you're straight with it. We're going to slowly go down, and you'll feel it go in. It's right about, make sure all your push rods are in. Just kind of like that. Now I got to get the bolts and torque those down. So here's the rocker arm bolts. Go ahead and get these started down in there. Doesn't seem like that one's started. Oh, maybe it has. Nope. There we go. You find the torque on it?
I was videoing. That's why I stopped looking.
So we're gonna go ahead and tighten down the rocker arm now. What I'm gonna do is snug it with this, so I don't have to do so much with the torque wrench. Here we go. All right, so specification is unknown, but they're 9/16 socket bolts, so 3/8 bolt, and that would be about 40 foot-pounds. Same as the connecting rod caps. So we'll go ahead and start in the middle, and we'll torque these to 40. You're gonna notice some valves moving up and down. I'll come back to that one, but you'll for sure see valves moving up and down, and that's a good sign. That means everything's going back into place. Go ahead and get this last one here, and then we'll torque it real good. All right, we'll start in the middle now. Yeah, I'm going back. All right, torque spec on these is going to be 30. I must have been freaking close.
Go up 5 and see what happens. Or go up 10 or whatever.
I must have been damn close.
Go back up to 4.
Maybe I was there and I didn't hear the click.
No, I was listening.
Oh my gosh. All right, rocker arm is torqued. We're at top dead center 1. You'll know by both should be loose, and this one should be tight. So go ahead and set the valves. All right, so we just set the valve lash to 14 thousandths. If you want to see me set valve lash, I'll post the video in the description. It's similar to any tractor. We did it on, I believe it was a Farmall or an Alice Chalmers, but same procedure, so I don't need to show you guys that again. So right now I'm just kind of pre-lubing the rocker arm. Getting a little bit of oil up in here before the engine actually starts. So what we're going to do now is install the valve cover. We got a fresh valve cover gasket that we're going to set right on. And then I'm going to have to clean the valve cover before I set it on. So I'll get that cleaned real quick and we'll be right back. Got this cleaned up. Go ahead and set her down. So we got this little clip that went here. But before you put the clip and anything on, you want to make sure that on this one here, you want a copper washer. And then on this one, you'll put the copper washer over the clip. Yeah, why wouldn't you? All right, so we got the valve cover on. Make sure you got your copper washers. Go ahead and get all these down. And I know this is overkill, but it is on the least setting for fasteners. And it's what we, oh, wrong way. Get that tight down, and then I'll do it with the ratchet. All right, do the rest with the ratchet now. Don't want to go too tight with these, otherwise you'll crush the valve cover. Just to a point where you think you're pretty good. Like there, I think I'm good. Right there, I think I'm pretty good. All right. Couple small things that we got. I put this line back on while we were cleaning stuff. Just put these 2 screws in. I just got to tighten this up. I'm going to put this tube that goes here back on. And then we're going to put I'm going to put the spark plugs back in, put the wires back on, and then we're going to probably put the manifold back on next. Once the manifold's on, then we can go ahead and put the thermostat housing on, and then we can test out our brand new radiator, see how the fitment is. So let's go ahead and we'll put the manifold on next after I get all this other stuff on. So we got a little Permatex on the manifold, a little hot Permatex. It was a little pitted, so this will help seal it along with the gaskets. So we will go ahead and slide this guy on.
All the nuts?
Yeah, all of them are over here. Go ahead and put all these bolts in. Some of the studs came all the way out, so bear with me here. All right, this manifold's back on. What I think we're gonna do now is put the thermostat housing back on. 2 bolts, got a new gasket. We have to put the thermostat housing on before we can tighten down the alternator because the alternator rides on that. So I left this loose. This was just 2 bolts, and I showed that in the first video of this thing. So I got the surfaces cleaned. We'll go ahead and get the gasket. We'll Permatex it and go from there. All right, here's the thermostat housing with the new gasket. We will have to slide it down onto that water pump on the bottom and then get these started up on top. There we go. Where in the heck?
You gotta go down. Which bump? Down.
All right, took a little bit of persuasion, but it's in. So go ahead and snap them down like normal. Now we'll do it with the ratchet. We're getting a little too out of hand there. Okay. All right. Now I just got to tighten up these two clamps down here, and the radiator can be installed. We're going to go ahead and attempt the first startup of the 300. We're having some issues with spark for a while, and it turned out that the ignition was bad. So we're going to go ahead and give it a little tiny bit of starting fluid because we don't have any gas hooked up to it right now. So, and then we're going to cross the starter over to see if it goes. Let's see what happens, guys. We're about half throttle, out of gear. We got spark. Let's jump the starter.
Keys on?
Yep. Oh yeah. That seems to be staying engaged too, but, well, fired up. A little bit of ether, so we'll have to put gas to it, but we don't have the right barb, we don't have the tank clean, we got the radiator to do. I think I'm gonna call it an episode for the 300. Next episode, you'll see the radiator go on, you'll see water and coolant put in it, we'll hook the gas up to it, we'll drive it, we'll test the torque amplifier, we'll test all the gears, but we're getting to the pretty long length of a video, so we'll have to do another one, but she's alive and well again after being pulled apart. So yeah, you guys like watching videos like this, please consider subscribing. We'll catch you at the next video.